So I'm here with Glenna DeLisle, and I am it's shocking that you're here at my house, for one thing.
I love it.
Thank you
It's
for
awesome.
Thank you for visiting.
What an incredible home. It's right in the middle of the trees. You feel like you're in a nest, like you're a bird in a nest or something.
So, first question. You ready?
Okay.
All right. So how long have you actually been in the home-based business industry?
I've been in the industry for about 15 years.
15, and it's
Yeah.
all been like super smooth, super
No.
easy.
Are you kidding?
What was your first
Okay, I was coaching with Brigham Young University, where the joke is that you don't get paid a lot, but you get blessings, okay? And we were looking for something, and I had a good friend introduce me to this industry, and I was like, I didn't grow up my whole life to sell water filters, I'm a Division I basketball coach, but I remember looking at my American Express card, right, which I had, that said Brigham Young University and Glenna DeLisle right under it, and I thought I had it going on, and I was big time, even though I was making $21,000 a year, and I just got rid of my ego and said, okay, what are successful people doing? And I started being coached and got into the industry and was horrible. I mean, I was like, want to try a water filter? Really aggressive, over the top.
Like with people you knew, or like
With anybody. I even recruited people that look good, that were tall and built, because that's what I did in coaching, right? And then I would go up and I go, you could be somebody, you could do this, it's gonna be awesome, and you know what, you could go out, all your family's gonna be awesome, and you're gonna be #1. And it was like an 80-year-old lady that was just like, I just wanna drink better water and be healthy. And I'd be like, be more, do more.
So how long did you go through that stage?
Oh my gosh, it was probably two years.
2 years of
Yeah, because I was like, I know this works. I know what I'm talking about, and I just need to motivate the crud out of people. And then it was all of a sudden somebody said, you need to listen. And I was like, listen to what? Well, listen to what the people have to say, so then you can design your company around what they need rather than what you think is awesome.
That's awesome.
And
so that was
then-
a huge. Now, did you get that at a training or a book or?
I actually got that from being pregnant and sick, and I couldn't speak. I was throw-up sick, and I couldn't speak or say anything, so I just listened, and I thought it was horrible. I thought they weren't going to want to get involved in what I was doing, anything, and all of a sudden they were like, I'm in.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, pregnancy is awesome. And I realized that it wasn't the pregnancy, it was that I was opening up my ears now and speaking less and listening more.
Yeah. Well, that's funny you say that, because if you interview any 6 or 7-figure earner now,
Yeah.
they all have very similar stories.
Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, you always hear this person that comes out of the gate their first month and has crazy success.
Yeah.
But this business is kind of like a journey.
Oh, definitely.
It's been a journey for you. So tell me some.
Well, I think the journey really is about being coachable. It's really about saying, hey, you know what? I may have had a great parents. I may have been around great business people or even sales, but it's really about letting go of what you know and what you think you know, and listening to the people who are actually doing it and following their example. And I know there's a silly thing that's come to mind. My dad used to always say to me, Glenna, do you know what elephant poop looks like? And I'm like, gross. Seriously, my dad was absolutely nuts. I say, no, Dad, I don't know. And he says, Glenna, do you know what panda bear poop looks like? I'm like, Dad, I don't know. What are you talking about? And he goes, Glenna, do you know what zebra poop looks like? And I'm like, Dad, I don't know what you're talking about. And he says, you see, Glenna, you don't know crap. And I always remember that I don't know crap. And to remember, and that may sound vulgar, but it was just the most simplest teaching tool that I could ever get, was to listen to the people who know what they're talking about and realize I don't really know, and pay attention and be coachable.
Well, and it worked, because you went on not only to make multiple 6-figure income, you
Yeah.
actually the top earner of your last company, making multiple 7 figures during that period of time.
That's right. And
So,
I was blessed. I was blessed to find a good company, but also just to be surrounded by some incredible teachers and mentors who taught me success principles that when I applied them, they worked. It wasn't a guessing game. It wasn't like, oh, how should I do this? Oh, I'm going to get all the water filters and the juice in a wagon and take it door to door with an opinion card. That would have been my idea, because all my ideas were like broke ideas. I started listening to people who were wealthy, had the success, and were willing to teach me. And then the other part was to invest in myself. We're always told by our uncle, well, here's some free advice. And we're like, oh, good, it's free. What is it? But it didn't have any value. And it was hard for me to take money and put it into training. And really, it wasn't into the training. It was into myself. It was into saying, hey, I'm going to go learn and pick up stuff and be better, because I invested money to go find out how to be better.
well, I'm sure you get all those people say, well, I don't have the money for training, or, I've already been to one of those training before. What do you say to that person?
Well, first of all, I don't have the money for training. It's like a circle. Like, we can get caught in negative circles. If you've noticed, you can be around negative people, or say that you broke your leg one day and the next day you hurt your arm. Have you ever been in that experience where, gosh, I'm just accident prone, and you get in this negative circle? What I wanted to do is get involved in a circle where people were positive. So they told me, Glenna, you need to invest in yourself. So when I went to invest in myself, I was broke. It took a lot for me to do that. And then as I started going to trainings, I started making money. And I started getting involved in this circle where my investment was a good investment because I cast my talents out. They came back 100-fold.
Yeah.
So that was the first question. What was the second question you asked?
I forgot the second question. What was the second question?
The second question was, okay.
Oh, so I don't have the money, or, I've already been to one of those things.
I've already been to one.
Yeah.
I've already been to one of those trainings. I think that's so ridiculous. I mean, even when we're kids and we don't make our bed, what does our mother say to us? How many times do I have to tell you?
Yeah.
I've brought in Division I athletes, and we still work on dribbling, when really they've been dribbling their whole life, and it's all about learning and relearning. So anybody thinks that they can go learn something one time and be an expert at it, I'd love to meet those people and work with them and learn from them. But usually we're learn, relearn, relearn.
Yeah. So let's go back. You're brand new into this business. What would be, you talk about being coachable. What would your business have been like your first 2 years if you were totally coachable? You started the business off the right way.
It would have been easier. It would have been much easier. I wouldn't have been laying in bed at night thinking of all the things I can do and why I'm failing and how I can figure out how to talk to this person and how I can do it the cheapest way I can. That's how I thought the first 2 years. What's the shortcuts I can do with the least amount of work, the cheapest way I can? And I was thinking all those things, but it became harder because of it. I spent more money failing. I blew out more people because I was like, want to try a water filter, like I said, and I know what I'm doing. And I finally said, I'm exhausted. And as soon as I hit the point where I was exhausted and I can't do this anymore, then all of a sudden my learning opened up, and I said, I'm willing to do whatever you are doing because I obviously don't know how.
Yeah.
And it would have saved me a lot of money, a lot of time, and a lot of heartache, and a lot of extra wrinkles and weight.
So we have Be Coachable. We have Invest in Yourself.
That's right.
What's another big nugget that everybody has to know when they're just getting started or building a home-based business?
Those are great questions, and I think the biggest thing that I've learned through the years is to be authentic. Be real, be authentic, be yourself. If you don't know, it's okay to tell people. It's like some of my best businesses that I've built, I went to people and I've said, hey, I'm calling you because I heard from Oprah Winfrey that you can have anything you want in life if you only have the courage to ask. And I'm really nervous to talk to you right now, but I'm having the courage to at least ask you. And then all of a sudden you're vulnerable and people are like, oh my gosh, okay, what do you need? One of the things that I learned from Tom just a couple of days ago that I always taught you attract who you are. Attract who you are. And I finally realized that I was trying to be super distributor. Like, I'll do your product for you. I'll go to training for you. I'll take notes for you. Oh my gosh, you don't have people? I'll give them to you. Why? Because I save people's lives because da-da-da-da, super distributor, and I was exhausted, gaining weight. You said, Glenna, what if I taught you how to do it in a couple hours?
Yep.
A couple hours a day you work. And you put time effective into that.
Yep.
And I started applying those principles where it's really not about saving people, because if you want to save people, you attract people to save. It's about finding quality people, sifting and sorting. And if you're a powerful person, you're going to attract powerful people.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, thank you.
Well, no, it's been awesome.